catch 'em all.
Alright, ladies and gents, welcome back to another one-point perspective video. What we're going to do is we're going to take everything that we've learned so far and put that together in order to create one drawing that has one horizon line, one vanishing point, and is 6 or more letters. So if you're one of my students, you have to do 6 or more letters in this drawing in order to create like one word or like your name or whatever you want it to say. But the letters have to be next to each other. Okay, so I'm gonna actually draw that, not draw that, but draw an example for you. That way you can see what I would do. Okay, now it's gonna be different for you because it depends what letters you're using. It depends where you put your vanishing point. It depends, where your horizon line is. If your letters are below or above it, if it's above, you'd see the bottom. If it's below, you'd see the top. If it's off to the left, you'd see the right sides. If it's off to the right, you'd see the left sides. So it really depends where you put yours, and that's how it's gonna, or that's what's going to determine how it's going to look. Okay, but I'll show you how I would set mine up, and you can, try to do yours the best you can, based on the way that I'm going to show you. Please don't do the letters that I'm doing. You're going to do your own. All right. All right. So let me set up my camera. Okay, so I'm going to do the word design, okay, D-E-S-I-G-N. I realize that there's not 6 letters in that, but I just wanted to do that word, okay. What you're going to do is you're going to set your paper up, and I'm going to set mine up with a horizon line about 2 inches from the top, and I'm going to put my vanishing point off to the right side, okay. Now remember from the last video I said that the further away from the vanishing point your letters or drawing is, the more realistic it's going to look, okay. So I'm going to do my letters in the bottom left corner. You also want to make sure that you're drawing the front face of all the different letters first before you start drawing them in perspective, because they're actually going to hit and touch each other based on how close they are to each other. Okay, so here we go. And I would make these letters a little boxy because we haven't really talked about curves yet. Now you guys are going to use a straight edge for all this. Okay, so I wanted to speed that up a little bit. So I have all my letters drawn, and the first thing that you're going to do here is you're going to start with the letters that are closest to the vanishing point. Because if you were to draw the ones that are furthest away, and you were to get all those figured out, these later on would end up hitting those letters. Okay, so you want to finish the ones that are closest first. Alright, so looking at the N here, I'm going to check all of my different corners. And again, you guys are going to do this with a pencil, and later on darken it. You could use a marker or a pen when you go to darken it. That way you can erase all the extra lines. Okay. Alright, so checking my corners. Now you don't really specifically need to see this part again because you guys know how to check the corners. So you can see anything that is not going to have itself in the way. So like this one I would not draw. This one I would until it hits itself. This one is kind of iffy because it's right above it like that. So I would actually leave that right side alone. And this one would not draw. Okay. So now to finish this letter, you got to decide how far back you want the letter to go. So we could do it, all the way back here. It doesn't really matter. And just make sure that you're taking your scale and that you're just sliding that straight up without turning it in order to get your straight lines. Alright, so now of course if these two lines that are here, I should have drawn that a little bit higher, so disregard that second line there, but if they're right across from each other, then these two are going to be right across from each other. And if this one goes over and then slants, then this one's going to follow the same slant. So again, you can take your scale and say, okay, that's the angle that it's on, slide it without turning it, and you get the angle that you need. And that letter's done. You would erase this stuff. Okay, next one. Check your corners. Now this is the first part here where something is going to hit a different letter. So when I go to do this corner, I'm going to stop when I hit the N. Just like that. This inside corner is going to go. This one will not go, that will not go, that will not go. This one will go until it hits itself. And that one will not go. Now, how deep do we want the letter to go? The deeper we go back here, the more complicated it's going to be because the spaces are pretty small, okay? So I'm going to actually just go in here with this. I'm going to go across and down. I know that this and this are lined up with each other, so this and that can be lined up with each other. I know that this goes up and in, so this one goes up and in. And that would be that part of the G right there. And then we know that based on this depth, that's how far back this would go before it comes straight up. So that would be it for the G. Now this is a little bit confusing in here, and I apologize for that, but the marker is very thick, and it sometimes it's not the cleanest look. But I need it to look good on camera. That way, you know, if I was drawing with a pencil, you guys wouldn't be able to see what I was doing. Okay? And you would erase the extra. Alright, on to the eye. Again, we're in a situation where this corner is going to hit the G. So you're just going to stop when you hit the G. Same thing here. This one is going to go until it hits the G. And same thing here. Go until you hit the G. Now, if you didn't have the G there and already done, you wouldn't be able to see that, right? So that's why we have to do it from closest to furthest away. And then we're looking at this corner, and that one's going to go. And now it just depends how deep we make the letter. This space here could be fine if I make this part deeper than what this is right here. But if it's not as deep and I go in here, that same distance back is going to be how far this goes back before it comes across. That should have been completely left to right, sorry about that. And then this little part would get erased. Okay, now I can't really erase that obviously because it's a marker. But since this is going across here, we're going to have that go across there. We're going to go straight down. We're going to go straight up from there. And then this letter is done. Okay? I don't know if I need to show any more. Alright, you guys pretty much get the idea here. You're just going to start from the closest one to the vanishing point, and you're going to move your way out. And you can make your letters, you know, big and small. You can kind of shift the positions a little bit. But for the most part, I'd like to see them all be like in a line with each other. Okay? And that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching. This was One Point Perspective, and we're talking about putting letters together and making words and things like that. And we're doing blocky stuff right now because we haven't really talked about curves yet. Alright? So I'll see you guys in the next one, and once again, I appreciate you watching. See you later.